Yeah. A couple of things that have that we could be discussing. I can provide you with 3 pieces of information that I have, at least from my side, in a couple of different areas. Actually, 4 pieces of information, 4 pieces of information of new data that I've got, and it can be applicable for different things. And then we can have a discussion, and we can have, we'll tell you, Kostas and I will tell you also some ideas as how we would like to start converting this town hall meeting that we have right now on a daily basis. But let me share first with you the new data that I have. Okay, first of all, you guys know, some of you have already submitted your applications for the PPP, and some have not. From our side, we have submitted from one of our companies because that company was involved with a financial institution that gives us the ability to submit, but our other companies we have not submitted yet because we have our accounts, the other accounts with Citibank, and Citibank has not started yet the process. However, we just found out today that SBA has announced that they will no longer include FICA as part of the number that would calculate your amount to borrow, and therefore if you have submitted your application, at some point there might be from the bank a communication back to you discussing the amount that you have included, that you have requested as a loan, if you included FICA. We got notice from our payroll company, which is Paychecks, that they will reprocess the paperwork they gave us, because they gave us very nice, beautiful reporting as to what we could be including. They will reprocess these reports to exclude FICA from that, but those will not be available until tomorrow. So this is the first piece of information I would like to share. Now, if anyone has any information or would like to say anything in regards to the inclusion or not of FICA, please go ahead and talk about that. Anything, any comment?
Hi, Demi, it's Bob. It is contrary to what was put out in the interim final rule by SBA. The only exclusion of FICA was during the covered period, not during the prior period. So that would be a change. I have not seen any updates to any technical corrections or revisions to the actual law.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm suspecting that it's an interpretation issue, and that this is what you're going to have is the different banks are going to do different things based on their understanding, because ultimately it's the bank approving the loan. But you know, it is a confused part of the language for sure, because what it did was it didn't specifically mention FICA as being part of the payroll cost calculation, but then they specifically said that it was excluded only from the covered period portion of the loan, which means that it would be included in the loan amount calculation. So it's all confused, to say
Yeah.
the best.
And let me say, so that we don't create here some sort of misunderstanding. The advisory we got from Paychex was that if you have already submitted your application, do not do anything about it. Let the bank come back to you if they want some other clarification or they are looking for a change. But moving forward, if you have not submitted already your application and you will be submitting now an application, they advised us to use the new form that will not include FICA on the calculation of the amount of money we're going to get. So that was the first thing. The second thing that I would like to share is those of you who have submitted an application for EIDL, for the emergency, what is all that? Emergency, what the EIDL stands for. That basically the $10,000 that you are supposed to get first, the emergency loan, the emergency funding that they give you $10,000 that you could use it. It's usually released within 3 days, they say. We have submitted an application. It doesn't seem that we have received any funding, although it's been more than 3 days now. But if you have submitted an application for EIDL, and you know what I can do? I can go and show you this so we can be speaking more specifically. One quick second, guys. I will bring this up.
It's economic injury disaster loan.
Yes, correct. So I am going to share my screen to show you this document, which is also a document that you have available at savephysicaltherapy.com under resources. Okay, we're talking about this, the EIDL. Okay, if you have submitted already an application for EIDL, we got an email indicating that SBA at some point updated their website, and that update wiped out applications that were made prior to that and were not approved. So the advice was that if you have not gotten any communication about your loan, then you should go and reapply for the EIDL. Let me see, essentially what you are gonna get, and I'm gonna show to you something. Let me cover some numbers here, but you are supposed to get something like this from SBA if you put in an application. That will, let me show it to you. You're supposed to get something like this if you put an application, which shows you that the application has been received, but you may have to reapply, okay, for EIDL. And as we have clarified previously, these $10,000 that they supposedly are sending to you within 3 to 5 days can be forgiven, and it does not have to be part of the PPP loan if you use these funds for other things that cannot be covered by your PPP. Let me give an example. Let's say that you are doing some sort of marketing, promotion, advertising that costs to you, I don't know, $5,000 a month, okay? Now, you know that the PPP cannot pay for that. Of course it can pay, but you cannot use it as a component of what will be forgiven unless it is payroll, rent or mortgage, health insurance, and let's see, what other were qualified expenses for that, and utilities. All right, payroll, benefits, mortgage interest, rent, utilities, and interest on other debt obligations. Okay, so, but if you would go and use, let's say, these $10,000 you're going to get from EIDL, you can use it for things that are not covered by PPP, and you should be okay with that. You can use it to pay for marketing. Now, when you apply for this, you are going to get these $10,000 like within 3 to 5 days, they say. However, you could apply for additional money for up to $2 million, depending on the type of business you have and the, and the credit worthiness you have, and that those additional monies will be borrowed at an interest rate of 3.75%, and those are directly from SBA. They'll bring you directly in touch with different lenders, SBA approved lenders. Okay. All right. What's the third item? The third item I wanted to discuss with you this morning are the new Medicare codes. Okay. There was a meeting. Let me find the data so I can give you the data exactly, at least of what we know. Let me go to savephysicaltherapy.com. Can you guys see my screen or not yet? Okay, you can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. So if you go to savephysicaltherapy.com, under resources, we just posted something that we got from Mary Dualong earlier this morning. And Bob, you might have data on this too. She told us that on the APTA meeting that took place yesterday, apparently, as of April 7, all of these codes are available to physical therapists now, including the telephone assessment and management services of 98966, 67, and 68. Okay. Now, here is what I will tell you from what I looked in terms of reimbursement. We in New York, we are using NGS, National Government Services, okay? If you build an e-visit G2063, let's say for 21 plus minutes, that e-visit will pay by National Government Services 34 and change, let's say $35. If you build a telephone assessment and management visit, 98968, again for 21, 22 minutes, if you are a participating facility, you would get $46.21. So there is a higher reimbursement, I assume nationwide, for these codes versus the e-visit codes. Now, looking at the description, though, of these codes, looking at the description of these codes, I have a hard time to determine if these codes can be done once every 7 days, or they can be done twice a week or 3 times a week or whatever. I looked at the APTA's website. There is this document here posted today, April 7. They define the e-visit, they define the virtual check-in, and here under assessment and management, they provide an actual explanation of the wording. And in the wording of these visits, it says this: not originating from a related assessment and management service provided within the previous 7 days, nor leading to an assessment and management service or procedure within the next 24 hours or soonest available appointment. I have different interpretations for this. I don't know, Bob, if you have looked into this and you have any comment, but this is really something that we really need to get some guidance, I believe. Unmute, we cannot hear you, Bob.
Sorry, we're looking into it right now. You know, today, just to get clarification. You know, the G206123 are definitely e-visit codes, and those are a once-a-week code for total cumulative time, you know, for over a 7-day period. These are new codes that, you know, the keys there is that a non-physician healthcare professional can use this code. There's other E&M codes if they don't specifically say non-physician healthcare professional, you cannot use those codes. So there's other codes that are e-visit codes that are intended to use by physicians that are E&M codes, and make sure that you're not using those. So unless the code description specifically says qualified non-physician healthcare professional, you can't use it as a PT or an OT. But this seems like it's supposed to fit a specific criteria that's outside of the typical e-visit use and the virtual check-in, right? So this is kind of a filler code, but your primary code use would be e-visit. Now, virtual check-ins were specifically prohibited from use by PTs and OTs just prior to this. So that's a new addition. The difference between a virtual check-in and an e-visit is a text message, a email, those kinds of things are considered part of virtual check-ins, whereas an e-visit does have a live digital communication encounter. So static communication through text of some sort is in the virtual check-in category, not the e-visit category. And none of this is telehealth, right? So telehealth is specific codes, the same codes that you would bill in the clinic. 97110, 97112, et cetera. So this is real-time kind of live information that's changing. So these are very recent, you know, changes. Yeah.
I mean, the meeting just took place yesterday, and this was an announcement that happened yesterday. So definitely more clarifications are needed here. The one thing that I can confirm, because I read this, is this. You see here where it says that these 3 codes can be used to an established patient, parent or guardian, okay? Well, this, to an established patient, because of the COVID-19 emergency, has been expanded to include even a non-established patient. So you could use these codes, these 3 codes, even to a new patient, okay? So
it does specifically say telephone assessment, right? So
yeah,
it's kind of the gap in between virtual check-in being text message, email, e-visit being live, face-to-face communication of some kind. You see the patient in an e-visit. You see the patient during telehealth. You don't see the patient on a telephone call. So it's kind of this, it's a live, voice communication, whereas e-visit is a visual and audio encounter, and virtual check-in is a text encounter.
yes. So yeah, there is more clarification that we are waiting to receive in terms of that. Now, something very interesting that it has not been publicized yet. It will be publicized, I believe, for sure by tomorrow. Do you remember there is a point in the PPP application that you submit that says that you, by submitting this application, you are indicating that you are following OSHA regulations. There was, is it on the PPP application, the OSHA regulation, or the e-visit? Where's the OSHA regulation?
It's at the bottom of the PPP application.
PPP application.
It's in the part that you're doing, you're a test, or you're certifying that these things are true.
Correct. I just want to let you know that I found out that there were 2 audits in Michigan about OSHA in relation to the PPP application. So most physical therapy offices, I am certain they are following. They have some OSHA protocol, and they are following those protocols, and I don't think there will be a problem, but I wanted to mention that.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm frantically looking for the actual language here. In a 20, do you have a 2483 form that you could pull up? And
let me get it for a second. Hold on. Okay. Let me share it. Oops. Share screen. 1 second, guys. I have thousands of forms and thousands. Okay.
Well,
there you go.
I love your screensaver. I used to do that for 20 years.
Can you see that?
Yeah, so scroll all the way down to the last page.
Yeah.
And so, right, keep going. So a little bit further. A little bit further. So, right. Next one right here, occupational safety and health, right? This is the OSHA section, right? So I want you to know that I've had this exact conversation with an attorney who this is his specialty area. And I'm not saying that this is something you should ignore by any means, okay? But it says OSHA can require, not is requiring, okay? So, and that if you do not comply, you may be fined, meaning that once you become aware that there's a violation, you do have to take action. So, and the penalties could be severe. And that by signing, you're saying that to the best of your knowledge, which is key language, the best of its knowledge, that you're in compliance with requirements. Now, this is legal, technical evaluation of language, right? But can you be knowledgeable and in compliance with a requirement that may be required, right? So I think the reaction to this of make sure that you're compliant with all of this stuff before you sign this form is not the way to approach this issue. It's be aware, check into it if you would like. Just know that under this loan, that OSHA is in a position to evaluate these things and require these things once you have a loan in place. But being compliant and aligned with this possible requirement is not a requirement of participating in the loan.
And I'm not saying that anybody should stop submitting any loan application. You should submit the loan applications as soon as you can, okay? Just keep in mind that you have that as part of the possible requirement, and if there is an audit, you will have to fix the situation.
Yeah. Be aware of what that means, right? Know that it's a possible consequence of the loan, and be in a position to deal with it should it come up. But there is a distinction about you're acting in good faith to saying that you're going to be compliant, and saying that you're attesting or certifying that you are already compliant with every possible OSHA requirement, whether you're even aware of them or not, is kind of going a bit too far in this.
Thank you. Also, guys, two more things that I would like to mention, and then we can go to some questions that have been posted here. One thing is about PT for Heroes. This is a movement, essentially, that we created, and we are asking all of you to participate in it. We have people in the front lines, doctors, nurses, other healthcare professionals, and it is a great service for us physical therapists to offer to these people some help, some care that they need right now, and we can offer it for free. So essentially, the people who participate, the practices that participate in this landing page, which we are going to promote quite a bit, and as you see, it keeps growing more and more every day. And this is not only to physical therapy practices. There are some individuals, as you see here, this is just an individual. So what we do is you go in here, you go to pt4heroes.com, you click up here where it says to join PT for Heroes movement, click here, and you fill out your information. It does include the uploading of your logo, if you have one, or mentioning your website, and we list you here. Now, what happens? When you do that, what you are going to receive from us, first of all, you are going to receive guidance on how you can promote to your various local media the concept that PTs, the physical therapy profession, is in the front and center of helping the first responders, okay? That physical therapy is important, and physical therapists are here to help the medical community, all right? We are on their side. This is a very important, if you think about it, not only it offers, this campaign not only will offer a substantial service for people, for healthcare providers who may need this type of service, but it can be a tremendous PR campaign for the entire physical therapy profession. So please join us in that. There are some guidelines. What happens is that when a patient, a healthcare provider who wants to receive free telehealth services, once they put their information here, we are still working out the possibilities. Either we will receive that information and will disseminate it to the facilities that exist based on the participating practices in the nearest zip code, or we will be providing the person who wants to receive these services with a list of all of the practices here who want to participate, who are participating, and they can choose which practice to go to. Also through this site, we are providing you guys with links. So I clicked here on Panetta. That's the Panetta Physical Therapy site. Who else is participating? Oasis. I can click to Oasis Physical Therapy. That will take us to the site. So this is an awesome promotion for you, and you are part of a movement that can help other healthcare providers. So, and go ahead, Bob, we cannot hear you. Are you trying to speak, Bob? You have to unmute. Are you trying to speak?
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I'm trying to go there right now, and it's not letting me go there. If I type in pt4heroes.com, it says this site can't be reached.
Let me see. Let me put it here. www.pt4heroes.com. Oops. Yeah. Really? You can't reach it? Let me see. Let me do it myself. pt4heroes.com. Let me see. For me, it goes right through it. Can you try again? Are you misspelling something?
www.pt4heroes with an S at the end.com.
It works fine on my end.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to hold everybody up with that, but can you email me a link so I can click on a link that
it works.
Yeah,
It works on my phone too.
Now let me just send this. If I'm sending, can you guys click on what I just sent? Try to click on that and see if it works. Oh my goodness, guess who's trying to get in here? All right. All right, and Tim, absolutely, yes. I'll be in the Zoom meeting on Thursday, and we'll definitely present that. Now, yeah, and you can just post it. So before we go into questions, and we can make this a topic for today and also for tomorrow, we want guys to figure out what are your thoughts and how you view moving forward with these town hall meetings. Okay, so we have addressed the preparation of the physical therapy practices during this time. We've addressed issues on the Medicare coding. We've addressed issues of compliance. We've addressed issues on telehealth. We've addressed issues on the loan applications. My goodness, I mean, we've addressed so many different issues, and we have all of this recorded, and you can find all of these under savephysicaltherapy.com under resources. Okay. Now, we would like to hear from you ideas on how you would like to move forward in this town hall meeting. For example, one of the thoughts are, okay, look, yes, we are going through what we're going through right now, but we're looking to tomorrow. We are looking on how we are reestablishing our practices tomorrow, how we are going to go from either zero, practice closed, or partially open to full capacity. So for that reason, we would like to hear your comments and your ideas as to topics, ideas, something that you will see being presented, people that you would like us to contact to present here, or anything else that you can come up with that can be of help to you. So I will give you, you can go and post this at the safephysicaltherapy.com site there too, but I will post here both my email address and Kostas's email address, and you can email to us, guys, about all this and how you would like to move forward.
And another subject that I'm very interested in, I think a lot of you guys, is how do you handle the rents? Whoever of you, has to pay a rent, did you manage to pay the rent? Did you were able to negotiate a different price? Or what was your deal with your the owner of your practice, I mean, the space? And what have you done successfully so the rest of us can capitalize on that and be able to negotiate a better deal with the owner of, I mean, for instance, in our case, we had the back and forth with the owner of our practice, and it's not what we're asked for, but anyway, we're still negotiating. And if you have any ideas or any ways of handling that part of your expense, it would be nice to share with us.
And also what you guys, how were you able to handle, let's say if you were able to negotiate with your mortgage lender, if you were able to negotiate anything with them too, in terms of paying maybe only interest or anything like that. That would be interesting to know. There is a comment, there is a question from Cindy Johnson, okay? Cindy says, can you clarify about the added $600 to the unemployment? How are employees officially incentivized to return to work for less pay? For example, in the area where Cindy is, the maximum that somebody can get is $488 a week. Not very different than New York. New York is $504 a week. Now, when the government gives to someone $600 on top of that per week, that goes to $1,088 per week. So anyone who is making, she says, $56,500 a year, which is $27 an hour or less, would be taking a pay cut if they actually come to work. This is so true. This is so true. If somebody is making, in your case, $56,500, in our case, maybe $58,000, if somebody is making less than that, they will be making more money for the remaining 4 months if they stayed home in unemployment, if they can get qualified for unemployment, right? So that's the other thing, they have to qualify for unemployment. Look, quite frankly, Cindy, I have not seen if somebody can qualify for unemployment, if you let them go and they can qualify for unemployment, you see there are criteria for unemployment. If they say, I'm resigning, I don't know if they can qualify for unemployment. But if you let them go and they cannot get another job, then yes, they'll qualify for unemployment. I haven't seen anything else legally on how you can incentivize someone to stay with you. I think A lot of the things that we're seeing right now, it's about relationships, how you're building a relationship with an employee, how you help them to change their mentality from thinking for the now to thinking for the future. You see, I've always said this, whether we call it PPP loans, unemployment money, or emergency money, or anything like this, these are temporary stuff. A business, a community, a country cannot be sustained into borrowed money. It simply cannot. You can sustain something if you're creating new things, if they're producing something new. So really, we have to work to get that mentality across to our employees and associates, that yes, we have in front of us some short-term solutions to help in the situation, but we should be focusing on the long-term solutions, on the bigger picture of things. I mean, that's what I can say. I don't know if anybody can open their mics and make a comment and say anything you guys want about that. Do you know how many hours a therapist can work part-time and still collect full amount? No, there is a formula that they have to follow. It's not, I don't think it is only a matter of hours, it is a matter of amount. Christina, if you go to the website of the New York State Labor Department, and go under unemployment benefits, you can see specifically what it says there. It states that if you are part-time, let's say, if you lost your full-time job and you are working part-time, if you are earning more than this amount per week, then you cannot collect unemployment. There is a specific amount that you have to collect per week that disqualifies you for collecting unemployment. Okay, you know, people are asking a lot of questions about telehealth. You guys remember that tomorrow we do have a telehealth webinar, and this webinar will be mostly focused on the marketing of telehealth. Of course, we're going to have other questions answered, but mostly on the marketing of telehealth will be the focus of the telehealth webinar. I'm going to post the registration right here, and you guys can go and register to that. I think I copied it twice, but it's okay. You can click it only once. There was yes?
We can help with the billing of telehealth if people are doing it and experimenting with it and wondering about, you know, the coding and the billing process. That's something that we can provide some direction on.
Absolutely. We have posted your information, Bob. Let me find it here. We have posted here Bob Kowalik's information. You guys, please get in touch directly with Bob, and he'll be able to help you in a lot of things. Bob has been a great resource for our town hall meetings, and thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. I did post a link that might seem a little bit right before you posted your. Right above that it says watch youtube.com. There's a link for me at 1:43 in the chat. Just it's an interesting process that it shows two types of people. And they did this with kids, but consulting firms and a lot of companies use this kind of thought process and looking at this really ties into the issue of I'm going to sit home for X period of time because I can make more money today in lieu of having a long-term employment relationship, right, at slightly less pay. And so this video link I just posted addresses that issue from a really a screening perspective and a psychology perspective around the nature of the person and who's likely to want the gratification now at the expense of something more valuable in the future. And it is an issue that these kinds of scenarios, like in even the FFCRA, leave options that are available to people and that kind of stuff. And I believe it speaks to, and we all have to make our own individual judgments with this, but you know, if you have team members that are looking for this looking at this as an opportunity to just, you know, get paid a little bit more to do nothing, good chance they're probably not somebody you want to build your business on.
Yeah.
And that little marshmallow test is a very interesting thing that the business world uses in some form or another today to try to kind of weed out people that are not the right kind of people to build teams on.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good point. Also, there's a question. If somebody says, I don't do currently telehealth, but how can I participate in the PT for Heroes program since I want to help? Okay, here is what you can do. If you go to teleptforme.com, teleptforme.com, let me show you the site, teleptforme.com. You can go and fill out your information here. And what will happen is the company, the telehealth company, betterpt.com, participates in our program of pt4heroes.com, and they will provide free use of the platform when it comes to the use for the PT for Heroes. Okay, so this is, you can go to teleptforme.com website. If you fill out your information, you will receive information that will bring you in contact with the Better PT platform, where they will give you free usage of the platform for the sessions for the PT for Heroes program. Somebody is asking also, one of their PTs is an independent contractor. Does she need to furlough, does he need to furlough that person in order for her to file for the PPP herself? So Jeff, first of all, as an independent contractor, this therapist cannot apply until this coming Friday. And there are more instructions. You cannot really furlough necessarily an independent contractor. You just don't use their services. It's an independent contractor, you know. You can furlough an employee, or you can fire an employee. An independent contractor, I don't think that you can furlough them. You can say, I don't need your services anymore, something like that. But there are a lot of things that still need clarification about how independent contractors will apply, 1099s will apply for this. We've been seeing new patients in our facility, but using telehealth for follow-ups and current patients. How can we offer an evaluation via telehealth? Would this be covered by insurance? It varies from insurance to insurance, as far as I understand. In some cases, it will be covered. In some cases, it may not. You should go here. I'll show you. You should go here to our website here, the resources, and you are going to see we have compliments of Bob again, virtual services verification form. You can click to download that form, and you can use this form to call the various insurance carriers and verify benefits. Can you guys see my screen? Oh, sorry. I keep thinking that I'm sharing. Okay, if you go again to resources, and you click on virtual services verification form. You can click to download this form that will help you to verify patients and what the insurances will pay and all that. And of course, you can ask them the question if they will pay for initial evaluation. All right.
That's for non-Medicare, because
Non-Medicare.
Medicare, you do that online.
Okay, Heather, thank you. Thank you everyone for your kind comments. All right. So, a lot of action again this week. Join us tomorrow in the TelePT, 1 o'clock in the town hall, at 6 p.m. in the telehealth, TelePT marketing webinar. And I believe that next week, probably midweek, we'll give you more data. We are going to be putting a telehealth, TelePT billing update, because by that time, we're going to have a lot more information from Medicare and from APTA, and we'll be able to give you better guidance. All right. Bob, thank you very much. Costa, thank you. Tim, thank you for the invite on Thursday. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. And thank you all for attending. Take care, everyone.